the one Starland show that sticks out was the last time we played here, which was, I think it was almost a year ago, last October in 2008. Just because it was just, that whole tour we kind of just stripped down everything, and we were playing a lot of just small places because the record had just come out and everything, and that show particularly was really, really big, and it was good. It's a hometown show, so they're usually really good.
Probably the last time that we played here was a little less than a year ago, actually. We came through on a headlining tour shortly after our last record came out, and it sold out, oversold. Like, there was a ton of people here, like all of our family, all of our friends, everything. It was, you know, we hadn't been on tour in a while, and it was the first time like that we had like a big giant hometown show like that. And so it was just awesome.
We played here once for a benefit that was really awesome. It was like My Chem, I think Midtown played, Taking Back Sunday, I think Coheed played. It's benefit for right after Katrina. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool because that was just a ton of pretty, you know, big bands. That one sticks out in my head mostly just because there's so many bands playing. It was very good.
In 2002, we went on our first tour with it was a band called Finch, and we were the opener for the whole tour. And we didn't really know tour etiquette. We were all like 17, 18 years old on this big tour, and somehow we had fans too across the U.S. So we were a little bit spoiled right away. So we would trash the dressing rooms, like ride skateboards through walls and eat the other band's food and drink their beer and stuff like that. And then after like 2 shows of doing that, we weren't allowed in the venue until we had to load in and play. And that's kind of where we learned what not to do on tour.
I wouldn't say that we overthink things now, but there was definitely like this wide-eyed kind of like whatever attitude that we used to really have. And I think we still do to a degree, but you know, we just kind of know what we want to do more so nowadays.
The most stuff I remember about early shows is just you're just playing shows because you love playing shows.
You know, it was every show was a totally new experience. Every club and venue that we went to was a totally new experience, as well as the cities and just the traveling and everything.
That's what I remember. That was the most fun, was going to shows at VFW halls and, you know, fire halls and American Legions and people's basements and people's houses, and we played a lot of that stuff. That is, to me, the most fun aspect of being in a band. It's really fun to play in front of 2,000 people, maybe even more than that. We've played in front of, I think, the most 30,000 people. It's not the same as playing in front of 100 people that are in a basement where it's just there.
Me and Buddy and Garrett definitely have it's a very unique relationship for sure. I mean, the 3 of us are completely different people. I mean, we've got very diverse personalities. It's like it's actually a good thing. It's like a true triangle of every extreme, I think.
Being in a band and being on tour, you're forced to live with somebody in such small quarters. It's like living in a traveling dorm room for years, almost a decade at this point, and you learn. You probably know the person. Well, the 3 of us probably know each other better than our families do.
It's weird because, you know, I know those guys better than I think their family knows them, or their girlfriends know them, or their future wives. Like, I'll know them better.
I think we always know what each other is thinking in a weird way.
I know exactly. If we step off the bus and there's 3 places to choose from to go eat, I know exactly where Buddy and Dan are gonna choose to go eat.
Communication is definitely a huge key in that, and I think that we really do communicate very well.
It translates into playing too. Like we don't even have to like tell each other what we're gonna do. It's like we just play with each other on stage and like improvise, but it's still kind of like our minds are in the same place.
One of my favorite experiences playing in Senses Fail came on the first tour that I did with them. It's actually 4 years ago today, on Halloween 2005. We played in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and you know, we hadn't really given much thought to costumes at all. We weren't going to wear them. We were just going to go up and play. But about an hour before we were supposed to go on, Buddy went to Walmart and brought back all these costumes. And he brought back a Darth Vader costume for me. So I dressed up as Darth Vader 4 years ago. And just playing in like the mask and the whole thing, it was a blast. And it was the only time I've ever played a show in a cape. And I don't suggest anyone else doing that because it was very, very uncomfortable.
When Heath joined the band a few years ago, it was like, oh my God, this is what we've been missing the whole time. You know, he's a great guitarist, he's a great singer, and most importantly, he's just an awesome dude. And he's a great person to have around. And the chemistry that we have on stage is like, yeah, I don't know. I can't explain it. You know, it was one of those things where the first time we even practiced with the dude, by the time we got to the first chorus of the first song that we ever played together, which was Lady in a Blue Dress, I just remember all of us looking around the room at each other going, yes, this is what we need. So that being said, we were like, hey, you know, will you come and do the DVD? You know, it's going to be really special for us just in general, and really special if you're there to do it. And you know, as you know, he said yes, and here we are.
We asked Heath to come back for the last two shows, the last show, so that we could kind of get back into the swing of things with playing with Heath. And then obviously tonight to do the DVD. We just felt that, you know, Heath has been with us for the majority of the band's lifespan, and we figured it was just only fair to fans, and it just felt like it was the right thing to do, to have like the band back for the DVD.
I mean, the band's never done this before, and we talked about it and feel like the five of us is the best lineup that the band has ever had. And if we're going to document it, we should do it with that lineup. And so he said, yeah, you know, I agree, that's awesome. It's super easy for me to do. And I think that's it. We just want to represent ourselves as well as possible.
It feels kind of like closure, I guess. You know, he left the band, but our last show we played in LA on Warped Tour. Like, that's such a...
The last time you played with him besides?
Yeah, it was such a shitty way to be like, okay, that's it. You know,
Totally.
after Warped Tour, everybody just wanted to go home. You're in LA. You know, it's like, it's not our home. It's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It doesn't feel like all our friends are coming out. You know, it's a good way to say that I'm done with this part of my life. You know, and do it in a cool, fun way.
Kiss is one of my favorite bands of all time. Alive 2 is one of my favorite live records of all time. The Kiss Anthology live series is great too. It shows like concerts from like 1976 up to the 80s, and Paul Stanley is wearing Centaur pants and dancing and singing at the same time.
I love Dream Theater, and they have a DVD live at Budokan, and for a long time we would just drink beer and sit in the back of the bus and watch that, and then we got tired of it. But now I kind of want to do that again. I want to watch that again. That's my favorite one.
The Dream Theater Live at Budokan DVD is one of the coolest things I've seen.
I heard They Suck Live by NoFX. That's a great live record.
There's a Muse DVD called Hullabaloo that came out a while ago. Like, you know, were already gigantic, but it was before they really broke into the mainstream, especially here. From like it was from a couple of their earlier records.
Most of the live stuff I like are bands that, I don't know, I have more jazz stuff, I guess. I think that a lot of current live records are kind of just studio records with crowd noise mixed in for the most part.
There's a really good Queens of the Stone Age live DVD filmed in London that I like. It's called Over the Years and Through the Woods, I believe it's called.
Another State of Mind, which is Youth Brigade going on tour with Social D and meeting up with all different kinds of early hardcore bands. It was just like one of the first real, I think, attempts at touring the U.S. DIY.
Led Zeppelin did some real good live stuff and things like that, but I mean, I think for live stuff, I more enjoy musicianship that's a lot more just kind of interactive and improvised than I would say most of the stuff. Although I do really like the Cure's live DVDs, but they're kind of their own animal, I think.
When I was in high school, I really liked Candlemass, and Candlemass had this live CD that me and my friends listened to all the time. and we just imagined it like taking place in some huge arena in Sweden, and there are just like thousands of people there like cheering along. But years later, we found a live video from that show, and it was actually filmed in like a high school gymnasium, and there looked like there were 45 or like 50 kids there, and it was just like, it was a shock to me to see what was actually happening at that show when like I'd had a different picture in my mind the whole time. Us playing with Thin Lizzy around the Jailbreak album,
Dire Straits, Metallica.
Led Zeppelin around Houses of the Holy.
My dream live show. I want to play with Refused. I would want to play with Jawbreaker.
I think it would be really awesome to play with Faith No More. They're one of my favorite bands and have been for a while now. And now that they're back together, sort of, let's cross our
I can
fingers.
see it.
I don't think it'll ever happen, but
I can see it.
cross our fingers.
I'd like to play with NoFX. That would be awesome. We have played with NoFX, but that'd be cool if they played too.
NWA around 100 Miles and Running.
Everybody loves Dream Theater. You got to respect those guys for being able to play the way that they do and come up with the things that they do.
The Promise Ring. That'd be cool. Black Flag.
I really like the band Nada Surf a lot. Also a very different direction and a different thing altogether, but hey, that's what makes a good lineup, right? Having a diverse group of bands. It'd be pretty cool.
I like so many different kinds of music, and so does everyone else in the band, that it's almost an impossible question to answer. I mean, Warped Tour was actually a lot of fun this summer because we're playing with a lot of bands that I like, Bad Religion and Bouncing Souls, and a lot of people that I really like and friends. I think something like that would be a fun lineup.
We're gonna do this show, and then we're gonna go home and write the new record.
In the immediate future, I believe that we're going to get to writing and start writing another record and go into some countries that we've never been to before or haven't been to in a while. I know we're going to go to Mexico pretty soon, and Japan as well.
Mexico City. Talks about going to South America and stuff, but then like now we're actually gonna really focus on Japan and Australia and Europe, whereas those have been places that have kind of been overlooked in our career, and I think now we're kind of realizing that those areas that were neglected, we probably should go to and see if anybody really likes us there.
The immediate future, I'm gonna go home tonight.
We go home for a long time, probably. Not for a long time. We just start writing a new record and hopefully get that out it'll be out next year sometime. Try to get in the studio as soon as possible. But yeah, just take a break for the holidays and kind of relax and regroup and kind of start making plans, I guess.
Continue to write records and songs that I'm proud of. That's really just the only goals I have.